Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Fire Talk Radio episode number 12. Our flight crew is a little short today, so we're going to ask you to get your own damn snacks. Sodas will be passed from the front to the back, and do not come to first class because we are pumping the weed. So, enjoy your flight, keep your trays up, and enjoy your flight.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
All right. We are back. So, before we get into anything, I just want to say, those that have seen our logo, it's the Earth, it's on fire. That wasn't a recommendation. Maybe Biden should hear that. It wasn't a recommendation.
So, like in the intro, we are Fire Talk Radio. We are on live. Hey, look at that. If you haven't noticed, we have our Facebook page up. We are now on Spotify, soon to be on iTunes. We're on Audible and in your ears. So please catch up with us. Send us some contacts to our email at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. And or if you want to leave us a voicemail. If I can remember the fucking voicemail off the top of my head, that'd be awesome.
Are we live right now on Facebook?
I don't know. You're the one that has to hit the button.
Is there a button to hit? I don't see it.
I don't know.
So I want to see.
Let me go. This may fucking be a real weird loop I'm about to fucking see. Nope. We are not on live on there.
We are not.
No.
Well, how the hell do we go live?
I don't know. That's not my job. Her voicemail number is also 814-380-9820. I am so sorry for being unprepared. It is just so unscripted. It's ridiculous. Andy is not with us. He is stuck in California. The libtard that he is.
I'm sure he's hating it.
Oh, fuck. Fucking what, paying like $10 a gallon for gas?
Well, I mean, it's a vacation though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just true. I mean, he's with his wife and her family, so that's always that. I guess that's the
you and you're with the in-laws. There's that little bit, but you know what? It's California. He just had to pick this week to go.
I know, right? I mean, I'm on vacation in September, so I'm gonna miss 2 shows. That happens. So shows coming up on feed. I'm also there will be a Discord link on there if you guys want to interact with us, talk about topics. We'll surely integrate those into the show. But please subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more you pass it along, the better our show is going to become. Eventually, we're going to grow, hopefully. Find a better logo and make some gear out of it. Eventually.
You don't like our logo?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you some shit.
I love this logo. Have you seen some of my logos in the past?
Yeah, I've seen the logos. I've seen all your logos, most of them. But
so, do I need to go on Facebook to go live or something? Or I'm gonna have to look that up.
I think it's.
If anybody's listening that has done this, walk me through it.
That'd be awesome. I believe it's on Riverside. I believe there's a button that you have to hit.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't see one anywhere. Either way, kind of jumping into things before we get into anything heavy or anything. Let's talk about some general stuff first, and then we'll talk about Afghanistan, because I have a feeling that's going to take a whole lot of what
most of the
we're
night
talking about today.
Most of our show, yeah. That's
hence the Jack and Coke and the backup of rum and Coke.
I just got soda and weed. Hence why I'm up in first class.
Yep. I fly drunk. Anyway, so before we kind of go further, I got to tell you about how I got trolled.
I was gonna say you fell down a rabbit hole and hit a troll in the face.
Oh, you gotta see this. So let me
I've already read it. You already sent it to me, and I read the whole thing. And I was like, "What? What did you do? Why? Why'd you do this? Why did you?
Well,
you could have walked away from this discussion so many damn fucking times, but no, you said to go. Well, blah 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 blah. They're like, well, blah. It's like,
it gets weird too. Is where
you fucking made a left turn.
And the worst part is that I couldn't tell if this person was really a troll or if they were just like drunk.
I think a slight bit of both.
I didn't make a left turn. This person definitely did. So
someone did, and you followed.
So I'm going to read through this for you guys that are listening, and maybe I'll post a video because I have no problem putting this person out on blast.
Oh, we should get our YouTube page created and just fucking link us there.
So the person's name is, and I should have realized it at this point, Shelby EMS. And they were on one of our local Mid-Michigan NBC affiliate pages on Facebook, and it was talking about Afghanistan. And of course the person writes, about pulling out, and they said, why? For saving the lives of our troops. They are our troops signed up to defend our country. Now, before I actually get into anything that I say, I really hate that isolationist bullshit. I am probably one of the few people that thinks we should have never and should never pull out of there. But that being said, let me read through, because some of the stuff I touch on, we'll touch on later when we actually talk about Afghanistan.
Let's roll.
So my reply, us being there was defending our country from terrorists like Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Now we're back to pre-2001. Shelby's reply, the U.S. being there from 9/11 for 20 years, we have been there to teach them how to control their own, can't babysit forever. My reply, we have bases in 100 other countries, including being in Germany since World War II, South Korea, to provide assistance, although South Korea since the Korean War. We could have definitely kept one in Afghanistan, especially since we trained them to rely on our air support when asked. I have to switch pages. Air support when asked to help keep the Taliban from taking over. Shelby? And so all the men and women signing up to defend our country have sacrificed their lives for other countries is okay? My dad served in Vietnam. Dead. My grandfather served in World War XI. Dead. Yes, they actually 11. Wrote WW11.
Have I fall asleep for 3 through 11? Or 3 through 10?
I think so.
Fucking World War... What? World War II.
I will not support another U.S. troop death. Now, before I go on, I showed my wife this, and of course, her being the type of person she is, she actually went on and did some Facebook stalking, and we discovered that she has a post from last year talking about her dad dying in 2003. So either her dad died in Vietnam and then came back to life and died in 2003, or he never actually died in Vietnam.
I don't think he died in Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're talking World War Z type of thing there.
Good Lord.
And then she comes back. This is where it starts getting weird. You want me to show you the folded flags I have for my family fighting in wars? I will. What the hell does a folded flag have to do with anything?
I mean, the only thing I can think of the folded flag is because they're buried at Arlington. I mean, but the ultimate question is, did you go to fucking Arlington? Well, most of my family that serve, that's still alive, are buried mostly in Arlington.
Well, and even if they are buried, say, just for the sake of argument, they did fight and they did die in World War II in Vietnam, that still doesn't make you right. It makes you think you're more important than you are.
No, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah. So then my reply, and now all the people that sacrificed their lives in Afghanistan was for nothing. The terrorists are back in charge, and now they have our weapons too. Thanks to this administration, their sacrifices were in vain, which they were. They were in vain. I have friends that fought, and some are on disability, and they're pissed that, they fought in Vietnam, they served this country, and they're pissed. They watched their friends die. They watched, they've gotten injured. Some are on disability. It was for nothing, because now it's back to exactly how it was beforehand.
But now they have upgraded equipment because they have our equipment.
Yes. By the way, I wonder if I can, if they put up like a Taliban eBay website, if I can buy like a Humvee or, something. I just want maybe what are the helicopters that have the two blades?
Everybody needs to go to eBay and change their location to Afghanistan to see if our equipment is up for sale.
Yes. Shelby's reply. And at whose fault? Their president, not ours. He left. How long do you need to babysit another country? Again, reiterating, my dad died protesting others. I'm assuming she meant protecting, but maybe she did mean protesting. Maybe he was a protester and didn't actually fight in Vietnam, but protested it and died that
Vietnam. Way. He's a fucking...
Can you say the same? Again, we're back to this. My daddy's got a bigger dick than you.
Yeah. I mean, remember when we were kids, it was like, oh, we got into a fight. Oh, my dad's going to go beat up your dad now.
Yeah, my dad can beat up your dad. My dad's a professional me and my son are rewatching Cobra Kai because the new season comes out in December.
I've actually never taken the time to watch Cobra Kai.
You need to watch it.
I get through the first episode and I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this? I just lose the interest. I'm assuming the further if I can struggle to get past the first couple episodes, I think it'll catch me.
Well, Daniel's definitely an ass in the first few episodes. He doesn't get much better for a while, but trust me, it's worth it. It's really worth it.
When I watched The Karate Kid, the original, not this fucking bullshit with Jackie Chan and what's his name?
Will Smith buying The Karate Kid just so he can put his son in a movie with the same name. That has nothing to do with karate.
Yeah. My thing is, it wasn't. Danny got put into a fight that he should never have been put in. This was between the two masters of each dojo. But technically, Cobra Kai was technically a legitimate dojo where Danny was just a dude being trained by another dude who saw another dude and got kicked in the face.
You have to watch Cobra Kai.
I know I'm going to have to. I know eventually I got to. I mean, I'm getting ready for Umbrella Academy 3, Season 3.
But there's a funny scene in there, though, where Daniel's space son, his little boy, who's probably about 10, 12 years old at the time.
Sure.
He's sitting at the breakfast table with Johnny Lawrence and literally looks at him and goes, my dad can kick your ass, right? And that's what this reminds me of. So we're already kind of going down a weird rabbit hole. And like you said, I should have just said, okay, you're done.
This is where you should have just walked away, but you just
can't
fucking
walk
had to
away.
make one more step.
I can't walk away. And
well,
then
you don't
it
roll.
gets really
you just
weird.
get up and go. Put your phone down.
Really weird. I have to get the last word. Shelby comes back, and this is where I start like wondering where the hell they're going with things, or where she's going with things. This is where I know
the
she's
beginning of
drunk.
her rabbit hole fall.
Yeah. You are driven by hate. Hate. You are driven by false things that are being told to you. I am driven by what I see at a hospital. Okay, if you heard this by itself with no context, what would you think? You are driven by hate. Hate. You are driven by false things that are being told to you. I am driven by what I see in the hospital every day for the last 17 months. You have no idea what the reality in the situation is. Walk in the nurse's shoes, you might see something a little bit different than what your reality and very small-minded thinking will get you.
How did we go from the fucking Afghanistan to a fucking hospital?
Yes, exactly. Like, when she wrote that, I'm like, okay, did she mistake me for another argument about COVID or something? Like, how did we get to that? Like, literally, right before it is, and now all these people are sacrificing in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
To talking about working in a hospital. My reply, I still try to stay somewhat civil,
no, you need to stop. Stop being civil. You need to fuck them. They don't want to be civil to us. Fuck them.
Ad hominem attacks mean nothing. I actually wrote noting. It was.
Yeah, I see your misspelling.
Yeah, we're coming up on midnight now, so mean nothing. While I admire the sacrifices of all servicemen, including those in your family, it also has no bearing on what happened in Afghanistan. If you believe we shouldn't have been there, that's fine. I don't agree. I see America as being more vulnerable now that terrorists are back in charge. That doesn't just affect our country and a country on the other side of the world. It affects us, and it minimizes the work, money, and sacrifices by the U.S. and our service members. On top of that, pulling out like this just sentenced the Afghan people to beheadings, stoning, rape, torture, and imprisonment.
That's actually
there are reports
too.
Now of the Taliban going door to door, getting unmarried women and girls as young as 12 years old, and girls as young it's 12 years old, and into forced marriage and sex slavery. That's not something I can support. What? And then I wrote, because I saw that, I'm like, what does being a nurse have to do with anything?
Yeah.
So I think I make some good arguments there.
Oh, no, you did. I mean, you fucking, that should have been the fucking end of it.
Should have.
Should have.
Not.
No, because she's a cunt.
The reply, come on, big boy.
What does nursing have to do with anything? Come on, big boy.
Come on,
big boy. She want to touch your
big
butt.
boy. I have to go to work and then, okay, this again, we're getting into weird territory here. I have to go to work in an hour to make sure these patients are okay. When I get home and 9 hours from now, I have to homeschool my kids because they have they're very cute, because she wrote CUTE, acute onset asthma, and can't go to school because they can't wear a mask. After that, I get a 2-hour nap. Do you want to think you want to think this is not real? Again, who the fuck said it's not real? It's very real. You're just not the one. You're just not in the thick of it because you don't see it firsthand every day. Again, what the fuck does this have to do with Afghanistan?
I think she's delusional to a point, though, where she's fucking...
Like, honestly, this has to be delusional
she's
shit.
Seeing it in her head and not remembering the original conversation.
She has to be drunk, high, or both at this point.
Or exhausted. If she's a nurse, she's fucking probably like dead. But I know. I look at my wife every day, and she's like, she comes home like fucking exhausted because
my wife does too. She's surgical radiology, but still, like, it's not like we're not around like hospitals. And then again, I wrote, none of that has to do with Afghanistan. Now you're just speaking gibberish about being a nurse and homeschooling your kids because you don't actually have a leg to stand on. If you don't have a cogent argument, just accept it. Say you're driven by what you've seen in a hospital as a nurse, which doesn't even make sense to this argument. Calling people small-minded and driven by hate, or having to prove the flags of our fathers doesn't prove your point. It proves that you can't stay on subject. Don't have an argument. Go back. Don't have an argument to back yourself up and have to shout people down in an attempt to make yourself feel important. Her reply, true ignorance. My reply, yeah, you need to stop. Do some research. You won't be. And then I wrote again, it's too bad you don't think people in Afghanistan deserve to live safely and with dignity. Take your own advice and stop being so filled with hate. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. She wrote, do you think soldiers need to come home? Again, I should have stopped. Because do you think soldiers need to come home? Shit. And I wrote, well, is the ICU in Afghanistan? Actually, she wrote that in between me writing stuff. Well, if children end up there, you will know. Does that make sense?
No. I know I have days where I read shit that doesn't make sense, and I've learned to stop. I've learned how to stop myself, because then people just start looking at me and they're like, what? Yeah, don't mind me. I'm out.
And then, so I, again, try to be as eloquent as possible. I think we should have a base there and assist with intelligence and support. We're going to get into this later. Just like we have been since 2014, the Taliban are terrorists that support other terrorists. They even claimed they helped with the 9/11 attacks. The original mission was to stop terrorists from gaining a foothold in Afghanistan. We can't leave without them flooding back in, which is what happened. It's what we did in Germany and Japan, and in Japan after World War II to stop the totalitarian rule from returning. It's what we did in South Korea in 1953 to stop the North Koreans from overrunning the South Korean forces, and we're still there to back them up. Now, our allies in Afghanistan are being hunted down, women and children being raped, tortured, and enslaved. We lost our base, lost the intelligence in that area, and can't keep the terrorists from rebuilding. Yes, we should be there. We shouldn't have removed our military base, removed diplomats, removed the private contractors that supported the goal of keeping terrorism at bay.
Well, most of the private contractors that were there right now were the maintenance people for the Humvees, the helicopters.
Yeah, but still, without them being there, because Biden pulled everybody, including them, that left literally the Afghan people that don't know how to work on them to basically do Zoom calls and point the camera at the spot going, what do I do?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was like, they should have been there for the Afghan military to be able to and
they're private. Video. It's not like their government contract with us. They're private contractors getting money from the Afghan military.
Yeah. I love, there's a TikTok that they were playing where the Taliban were trying to start one of the Black Hawk helicopters because they haven't been maintained or lubed. It starts, you see the propeller start to going, and then you see it shut off. I'm like, it's out of gas.
That's kind of how I feel sometimes when my dad is not up at the cabin with us, and he's like, just take the boat out. And I'm like, dear God, I hope nothing goes wrong because I don't know how to fix an engine. Okay. So all of that The reply, would it matter if they were? Would it matter to you if they were? And I'm thinking that she's talking back to the children. Huh? Well, if children end up there, you will know. Huh?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
And let's see here.
It's okay. I told my son the other day, I said, you get 4 choices of colleges. He goes, what ones? Air Force, Army, Marines, or Navy? He looked at me and he goes, what? I said, it's not worth going to actual physical school yet.
No,
Dude,
not at all.
Go serve. Do 4 years, call it a fucking day. Get your education and have a good life. And I told that to my daughter. It's like, that's where you're going.
So now it gets really fucking weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, would what matter? They reply, Shelby replies, would you like to assist me in putting a tube down your brother, mother, or son, father, daughter, son? Wait, down your mother. Okay. My mother.
Tube down their throat?
I'm trying to put this person like it's like a Franken family.
Has she ever
into
been
my brother, mother, son, father, daughter, son?
I think she should have just said family member.
Yeah. Put them on a tube down their throat. Sign up, buddy. Again, you know what this reminds me of? Do you ever have like get into an argument and the person that you're arguing against is like, okay, I can't beat you at this argument, so I'm going to talk about something batshit crazy that they can't follow me on. Like, I had a girlfriend that literally we'd get into an argument and I'd again try to like stay focused on the argument, which is my mistake, because like as I'm trying to stay like inside the lines of the road, she decides I'm going to put it into 4-wheel drive and drive it all over the mountains and down into the lake and hope that there's a snorkel, come back up, and if you can't follow me through, you fucking lost.
Well, I mean, you only have the privilege of having your one son. I have my son who doesn't argue with me, but then I have my daughter. It's a whole different level when you're fighting a 5-year-old. I love my little girl to death. I do. And now my friend Mike, I don't think you've ever met him, but me and Andy have talked about him before. Mike Pilot. Really good friend. Coordinated my wedding. His daughter, Anya, is one of the coolest kids in the world now. But when she was fucking tiny, she was why? I heard all the stories, and it's like, how did you? No wonder. Yeah, I was like, that'll never happen to me. And now I have a 5-year-old doing it. I'm like, why did I just clone myself as a girl?
It's so, yeah. And like I say, this is one of those, like, she's like, well, if I can't beat you at your argument, I'm going to argue about something completely unrelated.
Yeah. No, that doesn't fucking change.
Again, my reply, what does that have to do with Afghanistan? And then their reply, let's go put a piece of metal down someone's throat, then stick a tube that's approximately 13 inches into their air pipe, down their lungs, and then place a breathing tube in their system. Come on, you can do it. So, okay, first of all, if someone's going to let me do it, like without training, fuck yeah, I'll give it a try. That sounds cool. Like, I want to see how far this 13-inch can go down.
It goes down pretty fucking far, I can tell you that.
But
for someone who's had a tube put down their throat, yeah, not fucking fun. Not fun waking up with it in your throat, not knowing what the fuck to do either.
So I'm like, okay, so right now you're either high or just a troll. It took me, what, from the first one to this one, over an hour?
Yeah, you fucking...
To come to that conclusion.
You fucking took way too long with this conversation.
But they came back. No, I want to take a break from taking care of COVID patients, you idiot. And my reply, so you want me to stick tubes in people's orifices?
I mean, I can put it up her ass and tilt it to the left for her if she really wants. Yeah, that's an orifice, and we found out through the power of TikTok that an anus can stretch up to 7.5 inches, which without before tearing, which can fit almost 2.5 raccoons.
I'm not sure how somebody on TikTok figured that out.
I don't ask these questions. I just watch the weird videos.
So that's my Facebook adventure.
Stop it! I'm gonna just tell you fucking right now. Stop it! Yeah. I can't fucking wake up to a message. Hey, look what I fucking fell into. And I read it, and then my wife looks at me and she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm fucking reading. It starts one way and then goes to another. It doesn't work for me. Just can't do it. Stop."
You should have been in the middle of it, because my mind's going, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, dude, yet, I think if I had actually
there's a part of me that still
guys...
has to debate and stay on task.
Oh no, I would have fucking killed her debate in a heartbeat, even when it got to fucking COVID. Because, man, I have not one, not two, 7 members of my family who are COVID nurses. And one does babies. So, fuck you.
I have 2 members. Yeah, 2 members of my family, and then my wife, who's not a COVID nurse, but she works in the hospital around it.
Nurse. My wife is a COVID nurse at a nursing home. So, that whole fiasco with New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Delaware, New Jersey, where they sent all the sick patients from the hospital to the nursing homes. Yeah, my wife was fucking knee deep in that shit.
Well, okay, so kind of taking us on to another topic. Let me see here. Let's go with the transition.
Jesus.
So, did we talk about this on the last one? Biden is, or not Biden, but they're doing an investigation into the Democratic, or no, it's the Republican Senate. Ted Cruz is calling for an investigation into the quote unquote Notorious Five. The five governors that sent COVID patients into nursing homes.
No, I didn't see it at all. That's
okay.
That fucking needs to happen.
It needs to happen. I doubt it'll happen. It's kind of funny though when because I read it on
thing is they're never going to get Cuomo
Independent
anymore.
Journal Review.
They're not going to get Cuomo because he did what he was supposed to do. He stepped down for the sexual cases. So he thinks they're not going to fucking come for him for the COVID cases, which they still need. I honestly will tell you that they need to still go. They need to press that motherfucker because he tried to take credit for being the best governor during COVID when he was one of the shittiest.
Book. He wrote a book about it. Like, literally, COVID's not even over yet, and he wrote a book about it.
Yeah. See, Cuomo needs to do what Tom Wolfe is doing. Hide. Not talk. Tom Wolfe gave up. He knew he was wrong. He lost his powers. His transvestite of the Department of Health liaison,
which is now in the Biden administration.
No, it has not been confirmed.
No?
I will say it because that's what it is. An it. It's as ugly as a dude and as ugly as a woman. It's an it.
It's ugly both ways. You're right.
When I didn't realize who the Department of Health liaison was for Pennsylvania. I had lived here for like 10 years, and then we had the whole COVID thing, and I saw Rachel Levine hit the fucking screen, and I was like, I didn't know at first that she was a he at one time. And I said, fuck, she got hit in the head with a baseball bat. In the mouth. My wife goes, she was a he. I said, ugh. I was like, I said, okay.
Things that make you go, good.
I really need a fucking Jim Carrey soundbite from when he was Ace Ventura. During the great football massacre.
At the end when they're all
yeah, that. Rachel Levine screwed Pennsylvania. Saved her mother, screwed Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you know it's a good policy when you pull your own mother out, your own family out.
Yeah, and put her up in a hotel with a private nurse. Yeah, no. When that got fucking released, Pennsylvania already knew it before it got to D.C. And then fucking Mr. Kennedy asked, it's like, didn't you pull out your own mother for COVID? But everybody else can send their mother to nursing home. Why couldn't you? And she couldn't answer it. It was fucking fabulous. I got to find that clip. That was just the coolest moment. Other than trying to tell us that we need to make sure we give our kids blockers so they don't go through the wrong puberty. And I was like, what is, wait, there's
I
a
saw
wrong
that.
puberty?
That was a, yeah.
I was like, no, my kid's going to go through normal puberty. I'm not delaying it for like years. So no, she need to fucking jump off a cliff. My thing is, I don't think they'll get. I think they'll get away with it eventually. It's a lot of the shit that's happened is being pushed under a rug somewhere. Because if you notice, the news doesn't even fucking talk about it anymore.
Well, no, they're basically the offensive line for the Democrats.
And that's where if you notice, things are starting to disappear. They're not talking, even though we're talking about it. We know they fucked up. Other shows that I know are doing news and politics, they're still talking about the fuck ups of the nursing home. And it's the people. We gotta make sure people don't forget. And that's what bothers me, is because in 20 years, someone's going to look at the acts of 2020 and be like, what the fuck happened to you all? I don't want to have that headache. And I feel like I'm going to have that headache.
Well, the thing is 10, 15 years ago, I was working in news, and because I was engrossed in news, I had a theory that based on the news and the politics and everything, we are heading towards another civil war, another revolution. I guess it depends. If you win, it's a revolution. If we lose,
Woodrow
it's a
Wilson
war.
that said it? Woodrow Wilson, or was it Roosevelt? One of those two said that the country needs to have more than one civil war to fix its problems.
Well, even our founding father, I think it's Madison that said that, we should be basically having a revolution, every generation.
My thing is with the politicians with this is that they used to all, before Nixon, all politicians were part-timers. They had to have an actual real job, then take off like they do, like the reserves for the military. They get so much time off to go to D.C. Politics is not supposed to be a full-time job.
let alone a lifetime job.
I don't even want to.
As compared to people like Nancy Pelosi,
I think I'm gonna
Biden.
go work in DC because being an aide for somebody is almost $200K a year now because by all the inflation of everything. Nancy Pelosi raised the cap 14% for everybody, and it's like, can I want some of this money? Why can't I have some of this money?
On top of that, can I have my Black Hawk back that we paid and gave to the Taliban?
I don't think we need to pay taxes for at least 5 years because of all of that. Because we just gave $1 trillion away of gear. Yeah, fuck that. Well, speaking of money, let's transition into something funny before we get goofy.
We'll do another transition.
So, all those that like your OnlyFans, I'm sure that you've known because it's been the biggest topic for the last few days, starting in October. No more porn or adult content on their site, supposedly, because people are saying that they're just filtering it out, getting rid, they're like purging things that shouldn't be there. But
yeah, so supposedly this comes from
there's gonna be a lot of people out of work because a lot of them depend on their OnlyFans paycheck.
Some of them make buck on their. I was looking up like some of the bigger stars on there. One of the biggest ones is a girl in the UK named Belle Delphine.
Yes.
Oh my God. And the thing is I've seen memes with her before in the past. Just never knew who she was outside of. Here's this mean girl that wears pink hair.
Yep.
And she has a huge fan. Oh, by the way, as I was looking up, I found out before OnlyFans, she actually used to, one of the gimmicks that she made a lot of money from is the same thing, me for years saying, oh my God, that girl is so hot, I would drink her bath water. And she actually was selling her own bath water. Not necessarily to herself.
I mean,
just like
if you think about Japan, you can buy second used underwear and smell it for that kind. It's like,
but people were actually paying her for bathwater.
Yeah, I mean,
she was, there was a video I found of her. She's in a bikini, so she wasn't naked, but she was in a bikini in the bath, and she was filling up bottles of or jars of bathwater, sealing them. But she made a killing on OnlyFans. And evidently she went full porn on OnlyFans because it's kind of hard to go full porn when you're a YouTube star.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, where are they going to go now? I mean, Pornhub?
I don't know. But I mean, it's...
So, and the thing is like, so they say they're doing it because the banks are making them. The banks basically said
investors.
They won't.
No. OnlyFans got new investors.
Investors, okay.
So they want to pull away from that. So OnlyFans is we're gonna get money if we stop letting them make the. My thing is, there's a lot of people that don't want to work and they want to sell their stuff. And you know what? Fine. Don't give a shit. That's why we're in a capitalist country. If it pays to sell your ass and that someone is willing to pay that subscription, fine. Do it. That is your fucking right. I will say that right here. That is your right. But now don't come crying to me if you lose that right and you have to go get a real job. That is
so.
That's going to be
according
interesting.
to their report. They have 114,065 creator accounts
out of 200,000. There was a total
almost
of
279,000.
Yeah, they got denied.
Application. And of that, they found they deactivated 15 for having child pornography, which good.
That needs to go.
I can understand. Get rid of. How is this not going to basically kill their company?
Oh, it is. It's like McDonald's saying that they're not going to cook hamburgers anymore.
Yeah.
Or Amazon not, or just doing it by like the old Sears catalog.
Yeah.
Could you see that? The annual Amazon catalog.
Honestly, does anybody know anything else that goes on OnlyFans? They talk about fan pages like Cardi B and Jordan Wood and
I mean, there's people
Amber
that
Rose
do.
stuff,
I know people that do OnlyFans for that want to do like powerlifting. Guy name on TikTok. His name is Iron Sanctuary. He has an OnlyFans and he does it for his modeling for bodybuilding. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm not subscribing, but good on you, dude.
Well,
but
back in the day, back in the day when I used to remember Tumblr. I think it's still around.
Yeah, Tumblr still lives somewhere. It's like MySpace.
Back when I used to actually like read through Tumblr, and there was, I think that was at the inception of OnlyFans, because it was basically you go through and there'd be girls in bikinis and stuff like that, and like if you want to see more, become one of my fans on OnlyFans, and you click on it and it's like, okay, so to subscribe it's like $30 a month plus you pay for each video or each whatever, and it's like, really, people are actually going to pay for this? Like, I'm sure there's like 1,000 other websites where I can see naked women for free. But like I say, when I saw like Belle Delphine, she was bringing in like $5 million a year off of it. That's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, no, that's insanity.
So,
if you do OnlyFans, more power to you. But you had to know that was not a long-term. So many people can look at your booty hole.
Well, I mean, the thing is I was talking to she was an ex-wrestler of mine, and she was talking about going and wanting to strip. And I told her, like, hey, I'm not going to be your moral compass. If you want to do that, do that. I said, here's the thing. If you're going to do it, now's the time to do it, because you're young and you have the body for it.
Right.
In 10 or 15 years, you won't have that same option. Or if you do, you're not going to be making as much money off of it.
Yeah, that's it's definitely one of those things you just gotta. Is it my life? No. Is it going to be something? No. But and then, are you a Clerks fan at all?
Oh, I love Clerks. I am such a Kevin Smith fan.
So, all right, out of Clerks, who is your favorite character? Out of both, you have because Clerks 3 is coming out, and they're tying.
Yeah, Randall's always been my favorite.
Randall?
Yeah, Randall definitely.
I've always been a Randall. I've always okay. So I made friends with. So on Facebook, I'm actually friends with Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Brian O'Halloran, and Margot, who plays Veronica, who is fucking returning. I can't fucking wait. because, okay, so last year was my 37th birthday. She did a fucking 37 dick joke for my birthday on my Facebook. I died. I was just fucking, I was like, I couldn't ask for anything better. I think this is going to be the culmination of both time frames, because you're going to see a loop of everything together.
I hope. I mean, so Clerks 3, I'm excited for it because I was excited for Clerks 2. I wouldn't say it was a letdown.
Bummed that they didn't do a Mallrats 2, that they were greenlit for the Expo Mall in Pennsylvania, actually out in Westchester, that they were supposed to do it at, and then it got fucking canned. And I was like, I want to see Brody. I want to see. I was a huge Brody fan. Brody was like my fucking spirit animal.
Well, and Randall was just that way for me because he was, I guess Brody was kind of, he was the one that had the quick comebacks.
Oh yeah, he was. You talk about being
like
snarky.
It was like it comes out of his mouth like a machine gun, and that's Kevin Smith writing right there.
Oh yeah. See, Jeff Anderson, who plays Randall, plays that part so fucking excellent. Perfect.
I couldn't see anybody else, even professionals.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even see anybody.
Not that he's not a professional.
No matter how like Muse, his acting is his acting. Dante, Brian O'Halloran plays Dante very well. I swear to God, if I have to listen to him, I just rewatched Clerks, telling me that he's not supposed to be here today because, like, you're the one that picked up the phone, but you played hockey on top of the roof. Can't fucking go wrong there. I always thought about doing that at one of the work places I worked at, to close up the fucking shop and go play hockey on the roof. My boss finally watched the movie and she goes, "Yeah, no, that's not happening ever." I said, "Damn it." Awesome.
But the thing is, so the second one, while it was funny and had a lot of really funny, there were a lot of parts where I feel like it got a little too commercialized, to where the first one, Kevin Smith could get away with so much more.
Yeah, because it was more of an independent shot film versus where
it was completely independent. Kevin Smith financed that himself
with his college money.
No, he took out credit cards.
No. Kevin Smith went on air when he had an interview about it. He was supposed to go to college. He got the student loan, didn't even finish the first class, took the rest of the money and went and financed his first film for it.
He took out more
credit cards. Yeah.
He took out credit cards with it because it cost like I want to say $30,000. And the way that he did that is he said, I basically went and filled out all of these credit card applications at the same time when my credit was halfway decent.
Awesome, yeah.
Sent them all in so that they'd all approve it before everything else hit.
I was broke.
He got the stuff. The reason it's in black and white is because that's the only film stock he could afford.
Yeah. And I think and for that film, it was perfect.
It was.
And I can never listen to the song "Misery" the same ever again after that movie.
So yeah. So I mean, third one though, definitely I'm excited. I want it to come. It's one of those, I think, even though we did grow up with it. We grew up with Clerks. And I love how Kevin Smith puts the through line from Clerks in just about every film, not just Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
But other parts of it. So yeah, so I'm excited.
See, I went and saw. I remember seeing Jay and Silent Bob Reboot in theaters. This is pre-COVID, so knock your socks off there. I was actually talking with Brian O'Halloran when I was sitting there in between the theater because they played Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Then they had intermission. Then they were going to the new one, and we were talking. He goes, "So what did you think?" I said, "I don't know yet. I haven't watched it yet." He goes, "Oh, you got to let me know when it." And there's a whole bunch of people around me. They're like, "Who the fuck are you talking to in a movie?" And I turned the phone over. He was like, they're all like, I was like, "Sorry, man, I gotta let you go, but I gotta have you on my show when I fucking get it back up and going." He goes, "Yeah." So eventually we're gonna have fucking old Halloran on here. Hopefully I can get Veronica, and if I can ever get old Jeff Henderson, that'd be awesome. Jeff, if you ever hear this, I want you to be my friend, please. I don't know how to make you my friend, but I will. I won't drink your bathwater though.
What if he offers?
No. I think the only person's bathwater I would probably drink is Ryan Reynolds because I saw Free Guy.
Are we talking like guys or girls also?
There's only like really one guy I'd really almost go homo for, and that's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, me too. That's my only. I will. That's the only guy I'd go gay for.
Have you seen Free Guy yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh God. Fucking it was. I watched it and I was like, it's like Ryan Reynolds has his touch on this movie just the way the fucking movie plays. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God. And now they're teasing Deadpool for the Thunderbolts, and I was like,
and actually, the other day, I was able to watch the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Oh, that shit's hilarious.
That was, that was funnier than the first one.
No, I haven't had a chance to. I actually finished watching it. I need to. I fell asleep only because I hadn't slept in a couple days, so I think just exhaustion fucking made me fall asleep during the movie. But that shit's gonna be fun.
No, I think if I was going to drink anybody's bathwater,
would it be Tony Stark?
No. We'll talk about that at the end. Not drinking his bathwater.
Are you just upset he didn't pay you like everybody else is?
You know who it would be? It would probably be either Yvonne Strahovski, who she was in the TV show Chuck, and then in Dexter at the last season, the blonde.
Dexter's back, right?
Is it back on yet, or is it?
I think it is. I think it is.
Okay.
I think an episode or two are hit already, and I'm like, oh no. My wife looked at me and she goes, "We're not watching that while the kids are awake." I said,
"In
yeah."
In preparation, me and my wife are rewatching Dexter. So we're on the last season, and
they killed Rita in the bathtub.
Well, Trinity did. But anyway, and that so Yvonne Strahovski or Lauren Cohan. She was in The Walking Dead.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, dude, I have had a crush on her since she was on Supernatural. And then if you see her in Whiskey Cavalier, which pisses me off that it didn't last longer. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So those would be my two. So right. I think on that note, we need to take a quick break. We'll come back and we've been avoiding it.
Yeah, tonight's going to be a long night. I hope you all are ready for this because we're going to go from fuck to shit.
So everybody go pause, get a drink, get yourself some alcohol, and come back and join us.
Be ready to fucking tear us a new one, I guess. I don't know. Well, hopefully y'all fucking listen and either agree, put your 2 cents in, or give us a good discussion about it. Trust me.
And don't talk about being a nurse.
I don't give a shit about your feelings. I really don't. We left feelings out of this. So, all right.
Intermission. We're going to pass around some sodas. Hey, hope you all are ready. And welcome back to Fire Talk Radio with Brian and Jason.
So, well, we had a quick break. You know, sitting here dealing with all of you people kind of just makes you thirsty. So we had to quench our thirst. I had to go get stoned.
I was actually also trying to figure out how to get the stream going. You were trying to help me, and evidently between the two of us, we're not smart enough to figure out Facebook.
I've given up trying to figure out Facebook. I'm actually wish MySpace would go back to the way it was. People had flashy backgrounds.
Yeah, and like gave you seizures.
Yeah, top 10 friends. I used to sell my friends. I didn't even know how much they would cost. And I'll have a good
$10 and you can be number 2.
Right? And so
all right.
Now we're gonna get into depressing, but stuff that needs to get talked about.
So as everyone who's been alive for the last week knows, Biden has pulled our military out of Afghanistan. And when I say pulled, I don't mean, we're going to start having people leave and, get things in an orderly fashion. No, he basically said, okay, everybody get the hell out of there right now. And let's see what the hell happens.
And I know everyone's going to say, well, Trump had a plan in place and Biden followed it. He didn't fucking follow it. Not at all, because the plan was released of what they were able to release, where it was equipment, contractors, then military. We gave our enemy $1 trillion worth of our tax money. Your tax money. On bases that are fully equipped. Instead of getting that technology out. You're advancing a group that has nothing but whatever the Russians and Chinese sell them.
Well, I mean, they're basically, now they are 8th century cave people with 21st century weaponry.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Biden, Trump may have started this deal with the Taliban, which I think was a mistake to begin with. But I also said, as you heard at the beginning, I don't think we should leave there at all. I think we should keep a base there. We have bases on 100 other countries. Okay? Our job was to fight terrorism. The Taliban are terrorists.
Oh, no. I think we should have fucking did a Dick Cheney and fucking erased them.
Well, that's the other option, but nature abhors a vacuum. And if it's not the Taliban, Al Qaeda, some other group would take their spot. Yeah. ISIS, but the thing is, we need somebody now, because Biden pulled them out in the manner that he did, which is basically just, I have no plan. Let's get all of our military on big giant planes and fly them out there what we're going to do with the civilians, with the Afghan people that supported us, with the journalists, with our intelligence, with our equipment. Fuck it all. And
speaking of reporters, there was a CNN reporter out there the day that this was all happening. They were like in the streets. She was standing there saying, "Oh, they're saying death to America, but they're being polite about it." And then there was a Taliban behind her, asked her to step away.
He didn't ask. He told her.
He told her, "You need to step away because you're a woman. You can't be here." And I'm like, so you're in the wrong fucking country thinking that you have the ability to be this way.
Like, for some reason, they think that the Taliban, because we made some agreement with them a year ago, that all of a sudden they're going to be, undergrad women's study majors at Caltech University. No.
They still believe in Sharia law.
They're 8th century cave people. Okay? So, the way that we pulled them out, basically, Biden, to the people of Afghanistan, to our Americans that are still there, to especially the women and the children, because we now have reports of them going door to door and raping and taking children and single women for quote unquote marriages. They think that it's their right to have them now because they're the victors, because they are claiming victory now. They didn't get victory. They just waited. And Biden basically, you know what, to Andy's mom, plug your ears. He fucked them. He fucked them up the ass with a fist, wearing a leather glove with no lube and brass knuckles with studs on the end. Just right in there all the way to the elbow. That's what he did to Afghanistan and the people of Afghanistan.
So I know Biden made a statement about, hey, we can't be there forever. And the thing is, if I remember correctly in history, we said the same thing in Vietnam. But we were also helicoptering our fucking embassy people off a roof in Vietnam and now in Afghanistan. So it covered the perception that the world leaders have of Joe Biden, if they weren't thinking that he was a shitty president before, they know he's a shitty president now, based on just full-on bailout. I understand that the Afghans need to defend themselves, and I can agree, but the Afghans, the Taliban, ISIS, they fucking started the shit with us. Granted, in the beginning, we went to Iraq. Should we have gone to Iraq? No. Should we have gone to Afghanistan and rolled them the fuck over? Yes. So, I mean, intelligence is not all what it cracks up to be, because you have people purposely giving wrong intelligence to try to delay it. By the time we made it to Afghanistan, to really fuck them up, we did. Us just saying we're out, it was a dick move on both ends, because now the United States looks like we'll just walk away after. They're like, "Oh, we'll wait you out," and then you'll just leave.
Here's the thing. Here's cut 4. This is Biden talking in his briefing from Monday about things moving faster than he expected. Just let me play it.
Fucking a guy in a...
I always promised the American people that I would be straight with you. The truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we had anticipated. So what's happened? Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed. sometime without trying to fight.
And so, he talks about that, saying that they gave up without trying to fight. The Afghan military has lost 50,000 people since 2014 when they took over fighting. We stepped back.
The thing is,
we have lost less than 100.
Problem is, I think Biden thought the Afghans were supposed to take care of the airspace, but the agreement was the United States covers the airspace
and gives
our
them
troops
tactical
are supposed to be the ones in the helicopters, keeping them at bay, so the Afghan army can still keep that push.
Yeah. And
am I wrong?
You're not wrong. So the agreement is, and this is how we train them, is that the Afghan people, the Afghan military, should I say, they, because of the terrain out there, they were trained to do the majority of the fighting to keep the Taliban, which they have been. Again, 50,000 people, Afghan military members, have died fighting the Taliban. And on top of that, they were supposed to call on us for air support, for intelligence.
I mean, we like blowing shit up.
And
look at our fucking Apaches.
And that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years. That's why we, again, all lives, cost and is a cost, but we've lost less than 100 people. The last U.S. service member to die in Afghanistan was February 8, 2020. We generally we generally see between 10 and 20 people a year, soldiers die in Afghanistan since we stopped the majority of us fighting. That was how we taught them to fight. This whole they have 300,000 people. Here's him with George Stephanopoulos saying what cut is that?
I don't know. I sent you the whole thing and you cut it up.
Yeah. I think it's cut 12. Let me play cut 12. And he talks about 300,000.
Top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops.
No, they didn't. It was split. No, that wasn't true.
Not that one. I'll play that one.
Was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government, getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off, that was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
So,
he talks about how the president of Afghan fled.
Which he did. He fled with $169 million.
You know where the fuck he was when all of this unfolded? At Camp David, on vacation. I'm sorry. And then he did all the orders over a Skype call because someone made the fucking mistake and took a picture in the war room when that camera's not supposed to be in there. 1. 2, the question is, when was that photo actually taken? Because the clock is wrong. And 3, fucking Harris was on that fucking television screen and her ass shouldn't have been on it in the first place. I know that screen because I have enough family members in politics. That was a no. Especially that photo. Whoever took that photo should be fired or should have been fired. That photo should have never gotten out.
They outed intelligence officers. I mean, that alone, that's national security. So not only did he screw up that, he's screwing up everything after.
That's what blows my mind about this whole situation. And I'm gonna fucking say this. I know if Andy were here, we'd be fighting. This would be a fight. Biden fucked up, and nobody wants to just say that Biden fucked up. Biden fucked up. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he did it." No, you made the choice to say get out. There was just a photo put on Facebook. Someone just sent me the link of a child mangled in fucking landing gear because he was trying to get away because they didn't have any room in the plane.
Yeah.
And we just gave the country to terrorists, and everyone doesn't realize there's a base that they took that has all the prisoners of people that were planning another 9/11 attack to the United States that were locked up, and they are now free.
Well, but here's the thing with the 300,000. This actually, he got 3 Pinocchios from the Washington Post on that.
Oh, fuck the Washington Post.
But he still ended up, because he lied. He lied about that.
He fucking lied. Lied how many people got jabbed. He lied about this.
The facts are, with that, according to the 2021 IISS report, it showed that Afghanistan had an active force of only 178,800 to 171,500 in the military, in the army, 7,300 in the Air Force. This is quoting the Washington Post. Reports suggest that already high losses and high levels of desertion further increased in the 2020 report. There's reportedly 22% personnel shortage in the mid-2019 and the problems retaining specialists. It goes on to say roughly 40% of the total consisted of the 300,000 consisted of Afghan National Police, whose forces vary sharply in quality and were largely conventional police and could not play an effective paramilitary role or properly hold even supposed secure areas. They weren't equipped. According to Anthony Korsman for the Center for Strategic and Intelligence Studies. Where does it go on to say? Only a small fraction of the 182,000 personnel supposedly in the Army and Air Force together could be used effectively throughout Afghanistan, and the total forces suffered a 25% annual turnover rate on top of that. So we're not talking 300,000. He's lying about them, saying they had 300,000 strong. We trained them, and this is, it's a lie. We trained them to work with us so that they had support. They had our air support to back them up, to move people around, because they were scattered, especially on the outskirts. So, and on top of that, his intelligence people even told him that. So, again, here's let's see, I think that is cut 12, the interview where he talks about the intelligence.
Your top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops.
No, they didn't. It was split. That wasn't true. That wasn't true.
They didn't tell you that they wanted troops to stay?
No, not in terms of whether we were going to get out in a time frame, all troops. They didn't argue against that.
Again, that was the wrong cut. Evidently, I'm really bad at preparing.
Grabbing the wrong things?
Grabbing the wrong things. So he was told, let's try cut 9. I don't think it's cut 11.
This actually could have been handled better in any way. No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
Well, I can tell you. I've never been in the military, but I can tell you, and I know all of your military people can tell you because there's reports of it all over, that he was told, you need to get the people out first, then you get the equipment out, you secure all of the roads in and out of
that's the thing.
the major
the Taliban
cities.
has access to the first checkpoint. How are you going to get past them to get to the second one where the Afghan special forces are there?
Yeah. I mean, so at this point, I mean, it's a clusterfuck, and he doesn't want to take responsibility. You just heard him saying no one could have done it better. No one. I could literally find a random person in the United States with the intelligence reports that were coming in and said that could have said, okay, well, we need to secure a perimeter first, get everyone inside that perimeter, get them out. Again, that's to leave like we did. I don't think we should have left. I think, again, World War II, Germany. Why do we still have a base on Germany? Why is it one of our biggest bases in the world? And the reason is it's there because we left after World War I, and what happened? A vacuum happened, collapse,
Berlin
and
Wall,
rise of the Nazis. Japan, after World War II, we had a base in Japan and Okinawa to keep them in check. Korea, after the Korean War, we kept a base on the wall.
Border.
Yep. I had friends that were stationed in Korea.
I had family. So I have two members of my family who were, one was in Japan, one was in Korea, and my uncle, who was in Korea, he sat there for 15 years on that wall, and it was a shoot first, ask questions later kind of situation, because you didn't know who was going to come through the decommission zone, the zone that's not considered North or South.
Oh, the
Korea.
demilitarized zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
Yeah. So anybody there, you shoot. That's what it was.
Unless they can prove that they're defecting, and most of the time they took the women and children, but they've noticed that women have been spying that way, so they're been, from my understanding, been really skeptical. But it's never, unfortunately, the human nature. War is always going to happen. There's no world peace. I mean, I'm sorry. We have a situation going on in Australia where they're calling New World Order and they're imposing all these lockdowns and forcing people to do shit. That's going to happen all over the world. It's not going to happen in the U.S. The only reason why it's not going to happen in the U.S. because we all know our rights. We know what we can do. And there are more people that will stand up. But
there's protests going on in Toronto. Have you seen videos of the protests in Toronto?
Yeah. I've seen Toronto because their Republican Party that they're trying to create, the People's Party in Canada, the head guy of it was just thrown in jail for promoting free speech. And it's like everyone wants to sit there and say all the crap about the United States. But what country can you actually do that in and not get arrested? My thing is,
I mean,
you can't. There's so much people realize that they don't realize that they're taking for granted those liberties. You can't go to another country, act that way, and be treated as such that, oh, I'm from the United States, I can do whatever I want. No, that ain't fucking happening. You know, what's happening in Afghanistan is the biggest spectacle. And George Stephanopoulos, when he was doing his interview, was fucking tiptoeing those goddamn questions.
Oh yeah.
I got to interview Joe Biden about bullshit. I'm going to ask fucking snowball questions. Why? Because he doesn't have a fucking way to retain his memory without a fucking Titantron.
Well, here's another cut from that. I mean, listen to Biden. You can tell he's not used to being asked even normal questions, let alone tough questions.
Right.
The Taliban have informed us that they are prepared to provide the safe passage of civilians to the...
Oh, that's...
Wrong cut.
Wrong cut again. So I did not... Here we go.
Top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops.
No, they didn't. It was split. That wasn't true. That wasn't true.
They didn't tell you that they wanted troops to stay?
No, not in terms of whether we were going to get out in a time frame, all troops. They didn't argue against that.
So you see the look on his face like, oh shit, why is he asking this? You know?
No, I mean,
in another question, he deflects and says, or even in that one, no, not all of them. Not all of them told me that. What? So 8 out of 10 tell you not to do it, and the 2 that tell you to, that's who you're going to base it on?
Yeah, I don't.
The 2 yes men, and then on top of that, you have the Democrat left that is basically shielding him. This comes from the Daily Wire. Pelosi blocked GOP members from asking U.S. officials about the military situation in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I sent you that one. Yeah, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, Representative.
Look at the third question. If you
Stefanik,
look at the article.
Yeah, I sent this to you actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Representative Stefanik, the 3rd highest ranking Republican in the House. So we're not talking just, somebody that the left doesn't like, or the 3rd highest Republican in the House, alleged Sunday that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi blocked her and other Republican members from asking U.S. officials about the unfolding disaster in Afghanistan. On this morning's bipartisan conference call regarding Afghanistan with Secretaries Austin, Blinken, and Chairman Miley. Authoritarian Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, blocked me and multiple Republican members from asking questions and lied and said there were no further questions in the queue. Stefanik said in a statement, I sit on the House Armed Service Committee, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and represent the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum. the most deployed U.S. Army division since 9/11. I have led and participated in multiple bipartisan delegations to Afghanistan. This lame duck authoritarian Speaker of the House is shielding a feckless, weak, failed commander-in-chief and his administration. Nancy knows that this is Joe Biden's Saigon. And then she lists the questions. I'll read off the questions. These are normal questions you should be asking. 1, how many U.S. citizens do we have left to evacuate, and when will that mission be completed?
A little over 10,000 people.
Yeah, and we're going to, they now have to pay to be evacuated.
Joe, you want to hear something funny? Today, Trump got out a message saying that he will send his plane to Afghanistan free of charge. He will pay for the fuel.
I hope he does.
That I was like, people are paying $2,000 to leave
At
and
least.
then get reimbursed later, but you have to pay to leave. And Joe Biden said to something the other day, but it got released today. We are only going to get out what we can get out. It's like, you're
basically
going
he's
to
saying
leave
if you
people
can't
there.
get through, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's like you don't have $2,000, you're not leaving.
You know what it is? It's like, okay, imagine you're being held at gunpoint in your house, and the police come and knock on the door, and the gun holder tells you to be quiet, answers the door, tells the police officer nothing's wrong. The officer can see the gun in his hand and goes, oh, well, since somebody else was here before and nothing happened, I'm just going to go now. If you need help, we're just a phone call away. Oh, make sure you pay to have somebody come help you.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Number 2 on here, Afghan security forces had the best military equipment and capabilities possible. What is U.S. military and intelligence assessment of Taliban now having operational control of those assets and capabilities? That's a good question.
Yeah, because someone reported that they figured out how to get into our biometrics and our databases on one of the bases, which has all the names of all the Afghan people that were assisting the United States. All the people we're supposed to be protecting. Now they're going to be hunted and beheaded. Because if you don't think the Taliban's not beheading people, they are beheading people in the streets. If you do not side with them, you are dead. It is an all or nothing ordeal.
And then the third question, this is the most question out there. There are reports that the U.S. is paying vast sums of cash to Taliban in exchange for allowing the evacuation to proceed. Is this true? I want to know if it's true or not. I don't doubt it, but I want to know.
But I wouldn't doubt that whatsoever if we're not writing a check to make sure they stay away. But the problem is that you're paying terrorists.
That's exactly whatever happened to we don't negotiate with terrorism.
Right?
Whatever happened to that? You're a terrorist. We're going to blow your shit up. We're going to take you if you're a terrorist, we're going to take you out of this world. You can go see Allah and have the 72 virgins, which are probably all infants, so you have to change their diaper for the rest of eternity.
So there's 2 presidents in mind I kind of wish were alive right now that this would have never fucking happened. Teddy Roosevelt and Reagan.
So I think with
don't get me wrong,
when it comes
Trump
to war,
is great. Trump was different because the fact he wasn't in politics. Teddy Roosevelt would have been like, no, you're done. Reagan would have said, I'm going to drop a bomb on you.
Yeah.
I don't care. Look what he did to Vietnam. When he got office, he says, you're freeing our people or we're coming back.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
and we're not playing politics this time. Look,
yeah.
Look what he did with the Iran hostages.
Yeah.
Look what he did with the fall of the Berlin Wall. You don't have to necessarily like their domestic policies. I don't like Teddy Roosevelt's domestic policies. I think he was too much of a big government bureaucrat. But when it came to foreign policy,
I think you were thinking of Fred. I think you were talking about Freddie Roosevelt.
Well, there's Teddy Roosevelt and there's Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt. He was the politician.
Or Franklin
Teddy
Roosevelt. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Yeah, Franklin D. Roosevelt was the politician. Yeah. Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, he's a Democrat, but even Teddy Roosevelt, if you look at
he's the one that took the bullet to his gut and still did his speech.
Right. But he's also the one that took a whole lot of private land for national parks.
Yes.
And you may love national parks, but he took them from private citizens without paying them back.
Understandable.
So
was it right? No. But in the end, it was for just cause.
Well, I don't ever believe in the ends justify the means.
There's a lot of things that we can state that the ends don't justify the means. We cheated to get Joe Biden as a president. I'm sorry. I watched the symposium, the cyber symposium that what's his name? I can never remember his name. The My Pillow guy did. And you could not tell me that they did not cheat that election to get him, because there's no way. They found 8.1, I know this is so fucking off subject, 8.1 million extra votes that weren't even cast by anybody. That irks me. But with the thing with Afghanistan, try to fucking reel myself around. It's not over. That's what people are not going to realize. Is it's not over. We're going back. When it all depends, and it's going to take them attacking the United States again. That's
right. Well, and again, now on top of that goes to question number 4. What steps are being taken to ensure the billions of reserves, the money, in the Afghan bank are not accessed by the Taliban?
There's not. Because the Taliban just took over the country. They have access to those bank accounts now.
Right. So now, not only did we give them weapons, not only did we give them country and staging position, not only did we give them the personnel back, because they basically freed anybody that
all the high-ranking members.
But now they also have billions of dollars at their disposal.
Yeah.
And
then China and Russia just came out.
Yes.
And said, "Oh, we take them as the new government of Afghanistan. How can we help you?" And I'm like,
Pakistan also.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised fucking right there. My thing is, China's right on the border of Afghanistan. Think about all the shit that we have over there now that China's going to have access to be like, oh, let's see how they fucking build. We left drones. We left spy drones. Drones with stuff on them that nobody knows about. Now they have access to all of it. That shit just needs to have a bomb dropped on it and incinerated.
Yeah.
Before it gets into the wrong hands. And it's going to. Who knows if it hasn't already? just by us talking. It's probably in process, but the problem is that they'll never say anything. Oh, they just have all this shit. That's ours, but we can't get it, so it's now theirs.
So, I mean, man,
explain that.
This is I need a drink.
Need a drink? Right for the fucking bottle.
Almost done.
Momentary lapse of my thoughts. We're fucked.
Okay.
I love you all. Please listen to us.
Is it 1 ounce or are these 1 ounce or 2 ounce bottles?
I think they're 1 ounce.
1.69.
Those are, yeah, well then almost 2.
Almost 2.
Almost 2.
1.5 ounce. I got the mini bottles at the gas station.
For you got those the airport bottles. Those are airport bottles.
Yes. So, I mean, it's a big fuck up, and the Democrats are trying to change blame and say, well, Trump did it first, or made the deal first. In fact, here, I'll play. This is from his speech on Monday. So,
when I came into office, I inherited a deal that President Trump negotiated with the Taliban. Under his agreement, U.S. forces would be out of Afghanistan by May 1, 2021, just a little over 3 months after I took office. U.S. forces had already drawn down during the Trump administration from roughly 15,500 American forces to 2,500 troops in country.
Yeah, and we went from 50 to 100,000 in 2014 down to 20,000. So he comes into office. He basically undoes with the swipe of a swipe of a pen everything that Trump does. Yeah, this is the one thing he claims he couldn't undo.
Oh yeah, that does the because he didn't want to, like he said, he did not want to be the next president with another war. But you got to remember one thing: Trump didn't start any wars.
No,
he didn't. Yes, was him bringing home troops? He was going to bring a lot more home, but the military said, look, the Joint Chiefs came out and said, let's at least keep this amount here until we can figure out what to do. He's like, fine, works, great. But yes, his goal was to bring the troops home. All the presidents were saying our goal is to bring the troops home. If Obama and Biden had such a great plan back in 2014, why didn't they bring them home then and not instead send 13,000 more people back then?
Because you know what? Obama is actually smarter than Biden and listened to the military when they said, you can't do this. Trump did the same thing. There was I don't have the cut of it, but there was a speech where he was asked when he was president about bringing them home, and he flat out said, I wanted to do that. I got into office. I saw the intel reports and realized
that was just the other night on Hannity when he was talking about that.
It was he actually did a speech where he was in front of a crowd.
As I know, he did that on Hannity. He was explaining. He goes, when I got into office, they showed me all these reports, and I had to figure that out. The best thing. And he worked with his Joint Chiefs after they got sworn in about, okay, what is the best thing we can do as of right now? And then I can work on something.
And that's the thing, so we have we have people blaming Trump for making this deal that Biden, whatever,
Botched the fuck
botched.
out of.
You have people blaming, going all the way back to September 11th and blaming Bush, George W. Bush, for sending people over there. Do people forget that, 9,000 American civilians died in New York the morning of September 11th? 20 years ago. We're coming up on 20 years. And people forgot already.
We were young enough to watch that on television when it happened. And most people didn't see the first plane. They saw the second one. Because it was like, oh, something happened at the World Trade Towers. What the fuck's going on? Everyone would turn on the news.
I was the same
Next thing you know it, the fucking plane came in for the second building. And everyone's like,
what the hell was that?
What?
Yeah, that's how I was. I still remember.
And then
I was hold on. I was a freshman in college, and we had just started school, and I was in my journalism class, and our journalism class was on Mondays and Wednesdays. September 11th happened on a Tuesday morning. The reason I remember this is because on Monday, we were talking about the media's responsibility during national disasters. So we talked about what the media did during the JFK assassination, what they did during Pearl Harbor. I remember our professor, talking about saying, at some point in your lifetime, because every generation has something, at some point in your lifetime, something is going to happen while you guys are journalists, or while that is going to shut the world down, and you guys are going to be the only. That was on Monday.
Next day.
The very next day. So I was working at Bay 3 TV, our local TV station. I was supposed to go in at 10 o'clock in the morning. I never wake up until like 9 o'clock, and basically throw clothes on, walk out the door.
Yeah.
What the hell possessed me to wake up early? I don't know. But I woke up early, and I turned on the news. And as I was watching the news, they cut in that a plane had flown into, I can't remember if it was the north or the south.
It was the north building.
North building, okay.
Yeah, first one was the north. I believe the first one was the north building. The second one was the south.
And so then they were talking about it. They were speculating, why was this guy off course, all this stuff. And while I was watching that, they had a wide shot on, and you could see the explosion of the second one.
Oh yeah, that was. I can close my eyes and I can see me watching the television, watching.
But the thing is when you're watching it, the first time you see it, you don't know what the hell's going on because it's a wide shot.
Yeah.
So all you see is this little. You can't tell it's a plane. It's like this little dot comes across, and then it, boom. Another explosion.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there like dumbfounded, and then I had to go into work at 10 o'clock. And everyone at the station, basically we were shut down. Like, we didn't do anything that day because we just basically became a pool for the national media, and we just stuck it on their feed and let it go.
Yeah.
We didn't run any commercials that day. We didn't run anything. It was like, here's the national, here's what we call the pool feed. Here's the pool feed. And that's it. And we basically sat the whole day just dumbfounded, like, what in the hell is going on? How do people forget that? We didn't just go into Afghanistan to make a nation better. That was like a secondary or thirdary mission.
So here's what's funny. So my kid's in 4th grade, and they were talking about events that affected U.S. history. And someone said, they talked about 9/11, and my son goes, yeah, my dad said he watched it. And my mom watched it in school. And then some kid said, it's not as bad as they say it is. And my kid came home and told me that. I said, it's so easy to say that when you're being told the story of what happened that day versus physically being there. See, our event of where were you when the Twin Towers fell is the question we asked our parents, where were you when Kennedy was shot?
Yeah. And they asked their parents, where were you when Pearl Harbor was bombed?
Yeah, right. So it's definitely, it's unfortunately now it has become a trivia question. But those that were just becoming adults, they didn't know what I know. I fucking was like, what are we going to do for the rest? We've never been attacked. The United States, other than Hawaii, has never been a physical target of war in any way, shape, or form.
Japan thought about it.
Japan thought about it, and there was a documentary about that, and that's what was hilarious. They said if they made it through California, they were fine. They would be fine. But the minute they hit the Midwest, they couldn't get anywhere because all the civilians have weapons.
There's a gun in every window.
Yeah. So that's why they were like, we are not going into the United States. They're right. If they try to invade the United States, they're dead because fuck, they got to go through Texas, and they're not going to make it even over the border. There are things that will eat them in the desert of Arizona.
That's why I always liked the movie Red Dawn and how the 1980s version, they were in like Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, there's no way they would round everybody up in Wyoming. They would literally be shot at in every direction.
Yeah, I mean, something either is going to shoot at you or eat you in Wyoming because of the national park and all the fucking bears that live there. And yeah, go fuck with a bear.
At least the new one, it's Seattle.
Fuck
the remake. The remake, they're in Seattle where nobody has guns. It's a little more believable, but
the state of Washington is a fucking shithole now. I hope it just.
Okay, hold on. I am going to defend Washington State because I lived in Oregon, right on the border of Washington. And there is a big chunk of Oregon and a huge, huge, huge chunk of Washington that is basically like the Midwest states.
Fine. Main cities, they're policing. They're not, they've handcuffed the cops and what they can and can't do now.
Yeah.
There's a reason why laws are there, so you're just going to fucking strip them away. If you're a woman, if you're listening to this, God bless you. If you live in Washington State, I suggest you just fucking find a new state to live in.
Preferably not Oregon.
Not Oregon.
I love Oregon.
Not California.
I have this weird love-hate. I have this weird love-hate relationship because I love the people in the community that I lived in Oregon. I love the terrain. But you literally have people in Oregon that are petitioning to stop hunting and fishing.
Oh, also, you don't need your math or reading or writing.
Well, no, because everybody's
now to graduate.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And then they're starting segregation now in fucking Georgia. In Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. I wanted to play that video. Damn it. I'm holding off on that until Andy comes back.
Yeah. Because we had a big discussion about that 2 weeks ago and I made him cry. slightly.
I thought
no,
that was me, but the thing is
yeah.
So, between all, so this was 2001, and you hear from so many people, especially online, saying, well, they want to go back to the Taliban, or that's what they know. Are you kidding me? 20 years we've been there. Unless the person is under 30, I'd say 30 is about the limit. They don't remember the Taliban. They remember freedom. They remember fighting the Taliban, but they remember us being there, keeping them from enacting, from throwing acid on girls' faces for walking in the street alone. They don't remember, girls. How many girls, ages 0 to 25 that have basically lived in freedom? They don't know anything but that. Now now our administration is thrusting them into slavery and sexual servitude. How can you be a feminist and think that's okay?
Not even a feminist. So
how can you be a human?
Okay, so I know this is going to hit some of my friends very hard. We've talked about shit they've seen over in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Taliban are infamous for getting children and turning them into suicide bombers. I know Sharia law is in effect in Afghanistan. So if you're a woman in Afghanistan, run, leave, run. Don't look back. Just go.
Honestly, you're better off trying to brave the elements. And
right now, the elements are in their favor. They just need to go. They need to go west.
You're better off taking your chances with starvation and dying of heat and thirst than staying.
But I know some friends that can't lose a child's face out of their head. PTSD is a real thing. And all our soldiers that were serving in Afghanistan to be there for us, to make sure you have your rights and have your freedoms, are now haunted by the children that tried to blow them up. This isn't a game. I know, right in the beginning, we said all facts, no feelings. I know there's a little bit of feeling in my words when I say this, because Jason and I come from the generation, we were the last of Generation X. We were raised by most Generation X's that were still being raised by fucking boomers. The new millennials, Gen Z, have to remember one thing. You get your liberties from us now. Don't tarnish what they've done. They did what they were supposed to do. My problem is that now with Biden fucking pulling everybody out, just made everybody's time there that are suffering a big waste of fucking time. And that is what's heartbreaking. Because I know people that are like, why'd I go now? What? Why did I even participate? We're going to give it to them anyways, but at least we're not going to give them with all our shit. And yes, Afghans needed to stand up and defend their country. But we, as the United States, believe in our freedoms and that people need help. On September 12th, 2001, was one of the weirdest moments in U.S. history. There was no hate. There was no anything. It was a pure day of love and respect and a realization, even though we're in the United States, we are still fucking vulnerable in some way, shape, or form. The two planes who hit New York, the plane that went into the Pentagon. And the reason why I'm iffy about Pentagon is my grandfather, God rest his soul, we've had our issues, called off that day. The plane hit the side of the Pentagon where his office is. And then you look at the plane that was actually on its way to the White House that was crashed in Pennsylvania. That shows that they knew they weren't military, but they were Americans, and they weren't going down without a fight. If they knew they were not leaving that plane alive, that they were going to make sure that nobody else went out with it. And they did. They crashed it into a damn field. Did it suck that we had to lose those people? Yes. My thing is, they should have never been able to hijack our planes without an ass whooping. We gave it to them. And now it's that kid that you give a whooping and they're all happy about it. Like, yeah, whatever. Well, you're going to go see your dad next. And that's when true fear comes in. Now we got to come with the fear and fucking end them. And I will say that for a fact. I don't care. They need to go.
The thing is now, definitely with this administration, there will be no fear. There's no fear. We showed that this administration is weak. You have China doing flights over Taiwan. Taiwan, who we're supposed to back up, just like we were supposed to back up the Afghans. China is doing military drills in Taiwanese airspace because there's no fear anymore. And that was the one thing after September 11th. It was the same thing that Reagan said to break the communist Russia, which was, we will retaliate and we will wipe you off the map. I have no doubt that if something happened between us and China with a different president, that we would go in there and we would wipe them out. They may march in formation, but they will not beat our military.
I remember seeing a video where that Trump said, look, this is what we're going to do. If you can't fucking follow it, I'm just going to nuke you off the face of the planet. That fear, and just in that comment, it did come from the Secretary of Defense. It came from the president. He goes, fuck with me and I'm going to blow you up. Yeah. Biden goes, fuck with me and I'll just pay you money just to leave my people alone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Fuck with us and we'll give you all our weapons. We'll leave and we'll give you money to leave us alone for a little bit to let some of our people out.
Yeah.
I mean, this set us back so many years because this is my view. This has been my view for a while now, since I've really been trying to educate myself on the war on terror, because there was a time where I was more isolationist, where I thought we don't need to be the world's police. Now I view, yeah, we do. Because the only way to stop more terror threats, they don't like us. They don't like us not because we're, unlike the left mantra of they don't like us because we did this in Vietnam, or they don't like us because we did this in Iraq, or they don't like us because... No, they don't like us because America is free. And the only way for us to stop them is to show force. It's like what I teach in martial arts to bullies, about bullies. Bullies will always come after you if you're weak. That's why they came after us on September 11th, is because Clinton was weak. And they thought Bush was going to be weak also. And by moving our stuff out, or moving our people out, and not engaging them head on and crushing them and keeping them at bay and putting the fear in the next generation, that is going to cause our demise. You said we're going to have another Afghan war. I agree with you. The only way that we would have stopped it, we didn't have to have 50,000 troops over there.
We needed only
2,000 in the base. That base was built for much more than 2,000, but 2,000 troops being in the region, backing up the Afghan forces. And it wasn't, and people go, well, how long? 1 year? 5 years? You know how long? They're a fucking virus.
Yeah.
Until the virus is gone. Or, in my opinion, it's going to take probably a generation and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to change the mindset of enough people. Afghan forces, at least the ones that laid down their arms, did that because they were terrified of the Taliban and their take no prisoners, we will kill you all mentality without backup. They don't fight like Americans do, which is, I will fuck you up. You mess with me, I will fuck you up. And I will go down and I will die fucking you up. And
fuck you up while you're getting fucked up. Yeah. No,
exactly. And it's going to take a generation and a half. And I'm not talking like a generation like, oh, another 20 years. I'm talking probably 40, 50, 60 years.
It's
until all of the current Taliban, the high, die off, and you have a major outnumber of free Afghan people that want to keep their freedom, that will fight for their freedom just like the Americans do.
They say
the reason we won't see Australia here in the United States, or if we do, it'll probably happen in like cities.
Well, it is. Look at New York. Look at New York. Look at some of California. You have to be full vaccinated. Louisiana. I have never seen a friend of mine who lives on Bourbon Street. They just went down it today and they were taking pictures. There were pictures of people. To go to bar or restaurant on Bourbon Street, you must have your vaccination card. Fucking empty. It's fucking empty. It's dead. No one's going to follow it. Not even the people who are vaxxed.
Right.
They're not following it.
You know, even my wife, we had a conversation about, because she works in a hospital, if they start requiring vaccinations, and she says, I'm not going to do it. And I said, I support you. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I support you. And she goes, well, what do I do if they say do it or you're fired? I said, you know what? Make a contract that says you are liable for anything that happens to me in perpetuity from this vaccination. And if they refuse to sign it, then whatever happens to us happens to us. If we lose our house because of it, you know what? I'll support her.
If OSHA has to review the building at all or be a part of the facility, OSHA has made it now. If you are requiring the vaccine, that the employer is required to cover any expenses for complications. And we all know I won't get it. And it's not that I'm not getting it because, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting it because I'm informed. I understand the survival rating, even if I don't have it for my age group. I'm not getting it because it is still under human trial. Fortunately, everybody that's gotten it is a human test dummy. That's all you are. And the thing is, because they did it as an FDA emergency use only, they have shielded themselves from any lawsuits. And the thing is, this happened with swine flu in the 70s. Made them get all the shots. Years later, they had that nice little thing on television. If you took the shot at blah, blah, blah time, please call us for compensation. It's going to happen with the COVID vaccine. I have a feeling, and I feel bad for anybody who got it. I'm like, if you got it because you felt like you had to, great, fine, more power to you. Don't get on your high horse if I don't get it. I got it because I know my immunity system. I know my body. My body has a great immune system. It knows. I think I've already had COVID once. Yes, the studies say, that only lasts for 6 to 9 months. My wife works at an active COVID facility and has been in the room with COVID with minimum PPE. Never came home with it. I've been around it. I've never gotten it. My body knows what it is. I don't give a shit.
So, friend of mine, he's been in the... You giving me the double barrels or the single?
I'm giving myself because I got frustrated with him.
And so, a friend of mine, he's a police officer in Myrtle Beach. And
Myrtle Beach in 2 weeks.
He just got out of the ICU yesterday with COVID. He's been vaccinated since March.
Not surprising.
With the second one, he's gotten the double dose. He's been vaccinated since March, and they haven't let him work without a mask on. But he still got it.
Oh, wait, he must be in the North Carolina side, because South Carolina side of Myrtle Beach, they removed all provisions.
So, So I'm not saying it doesn't help. I got it. Part of my decision for getting it is because I have staph in my bloodstream. So I'm just as worried if I get the flu or I get a bad enough cold. Hell, if I get a sunburn bad enough, I break out in staph infection.
I just boil
and
over.
There's been times I've been hospitalized on vancomycin because of it.
Never fun.
So if it gives me a layer of protection, that's why I did it. If it does nothing, so be it. Then no harm, no foul. So far, I haven't had any complications, but I don't know the future. I won't get it for my son.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't get it, doesn't want it, and I support her on it. It's her body. It's my son's body. It's my body. I can make the decisions on what I'm willing to put into my body and what I think, what risks I'm willing to take for myself.
Yeah, no,
And my wife, she thinks the risk reward of not getting it or is better than the risk reward of getting it. Again, I don't agree with her, but it's her decision to make. And it's her right to make that decision.
Yeah, no, I I'm thinking about it. I think we should end on this note.
Can we end on the note real quick of what's going on in Australia? Can I play the video?
Yeah, we can do that one.
So this is going to be like 2 minutes, but you have to watch it.
Look at this.
Or listen.
Don't give any names. My sister's arrested for shopping for food with no mask. And there's people walking around with no mask. Look at this. Just because my sister's not wearing a mask. Look at this. No, I was just saying it's not a part of the law to wear a mask. Look at this. Just for not wearing a mask.
Young girl in handcuffs sitting on the floor.
Look at
sitting
this
on the ground.
Police over here not wearing a mask. I will record all of this. I don't care. Look, no mask. Look, there's more coppers coming. Look at this.
How many police does it take
Look at this.
for a 12-year-old girl without a mask?
What the hell?
I mean, if it's my child,
Look at this. Look at this.
I don't care.
Look at this.
12-year-old.
Look at this. Look at this. My brother on the phone for nothing.
I'm counting at least a half a dozen police officers for this young girl.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like they're arresting the friends, too, now. Pepper sprayed a 12-year-old.
Pepper sprayed a 12-year-old.
You're screaming on the ground. God, this is hard to hear.
Look at this. No. I'm going to just get my brother on the floor for nothing. Look at this. Look at this. Get my sister on the floor for nothing. Look at this.
Yeah, the thing
12.
is, with the laws
She's
down
two-
there, they get away with that shit.
2 years older than my son.
Oh, yeah.
And they're pepper spraying her because she didn't
She's not
wear a
wearing a mask.
mask in the store. Listen, I will defend and support my brothers in blue, but what they're doing down in Australia is disgusting. It's
They're not even they're following a martial law set up by the government in Australia, and it's asinine.
It is. And the thing is so many people here in the United States support that. They want mandatory vaccines. They want mandatory masks everywhere.
They want the unvaccinated put in concentration camps.
Yeah. Did you read about the one in Tennessee? Yep. So
Yeah.
when I say we're heading to another civil war, this is showing, and this is expediting that.
Problem is that the United States is going to end up seeding World War II events all over again, which is going to trigger civil war.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would have thought, speaking of World War II, we would have learned from the internment camps, the Japanese internment camps. But no, now it's going to be the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated internment camps.
I'm gonna miss you all while I'm in there. I can tell you that. But I'm gonna tell you now, when I go, taking a few of them with me.
You're not going to be the only one. One last thing before we get going, I just gotta point this stuff out. There was a guy that had what he claimed was a bomb in Washington, D.C. this week. A Tannerite bomb. He was, the media portrayed him as a Trump supporter. Maybe he was. He probably was. But that wasn't the reason that he was in there. It was about the Afghanistan war and everything that's going on. He ended up not having a bomb. He had parts to make a bomb. But the way he was telling people, he was basically on a dead man switch. He said, if I get shot, everyone blows up, which means he would have been holding a dead man switch. Yeah. And then, according to Reuters and The Blaze and quite a few other places, the FBI has found zero evidence that the January 6th riot was organized, coordinated, or otherwise planned by Trump or anybody high up in the Republican Party, or really anybody at all. They said that about 5% they found some organization, but outside of that, no.
Yeah, the organization of most of the cops letting them in. That was the organization, and please stay in between the red velvet ropes.
So
I'm sorry. I watched the videos that they have released, and it's like, how is this an insurrection? They're walking in the door. The cops are letting them in.
Well, isn't it funny, though, that they decided to impeach Trump without any evidence, and now the evidence is coming out that he had nothing to do with it, which is what he's been saying and everybody else has been saying?
Yeah, since his last impeachment was vindicated, and now this impeachment should be vindicated, but he's still going to have those two impeachments on his life.
Because the Dems like to say the twice impeached Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because the left likes saying that. And it
was a forced impeachment because they had the votes to do.
Well, they were trying to impeach him right from the moment he took office. They just didn't have the votes. But they were looking for any and every excuse to impeach him.
Oh yeah. The impeachment for Biden and Kamala Harris is still on the books, but Nancy Pelosi won't let it come up. And
of course she won't.
Being that voting's coming up for 2022, because we're right around that fucking corner. Remember, we were talking about conspiracy theories and rabbit holes. So here's what's his name from Florida is stepping down from the House. Rubio, I think it is.
Marco.
Yeah. So he's stepping down. So here's the rabbit hole. Trump run for his seat in the House. Republicans take the House. Kevin McCarthy nominates Donald Trump as the new speaker. All the Republicans show up in the House, outvote the Dems. He becomes the new speaker, impeaches Kamala and Biden at the same time, because the speaker will have, the House will be primarily Republican. The Senate will be primarily Republican. Because, I'm sorry, if anybody votes for Dem, they'll be a fuck amazing if that actually happens for all the bullshit that's just went through. Trump becomes president for the rest of Biden's term and can run again.
That's a good theory. I don't see it happening, but if it does, I will be eating popcorn, just watching it unfold.
The thing is, the theory isn't. It's not saying it can't happen. This could actually very much happen. It all depends if they push it. If they push it, I'm gonna just die laughing while doing the show when I report on it, because I'll be like, in 2020 I called it. 2021 I fucking called it as a theory, and it came true. So fuck you all.
So before we go, should we talk about Tony Stark or hold that till next time?
Fuck Tony Stark. He needs to
we'll
be paying
hold it
me.
Till next time. Okay.
Fictional character needs to be paying me money.
Are you are you going to land us?
Yeah.
All right. Fire Talk Radio Studios, airplane number 13. 12? 13? Yeah. I'm too fucking high for this shit. Episode 12. We are coming in for our landing. Please sit back, relax, and chew some bubble gum. Because your ears are about to pop. We may bounce, but we got inflatable stairs. So, enjoy your landing and have a good day.
We can only count to 4. 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 Numbers, lots of numbers.
You were listening to a Fire Talk Network production. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to get a hold of us, please give us a call at 814-380-9820. Send us an email at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Visit our website at firetalkradio.com. Music provided by Psychostick.